I'm very interested to know if other people feel this way. The human experience can sometimes be a lonely one. As much as you could possibly be surrounded by a lot of people, you're still just living your life. And it's hard to know what's going on through other people's heads, what's going on in other people's lives. Good morning, Ben. Hello, sir. Um, there's a lot of times when I feel like I felt any day, good moods, bad moods. And there are some times when I wake up and I'm thinking about things that, like, I'm going to call it big thinking, you know, as like not your usual everyday, what am I going to eat? And, that's sometimes you think, sometimes I think of things that it's like, where the heck did that come from? Or, not something necessarily that would apply to my immediate day, my immediate, you know, who I am, but more like you know, like I said, a big thing, like a universal thing. Gosh, what's the word I'm looking for? Esoteric? Would that be the word that I'm thinking of? Just different, just weird, just like I woke up today in a particular mood where I'm just like, why do we do anything? Why, you know, uh, um, gosh, like, I'm trying to think of how I can put it into words. Like, for one thing, I feel generally sad about the way people treat other people. And some of the thoughts that I've had this morning are kind of like, why do people gravitate towards acting a certain way, in a way that could be harmful to others? Like a very super opinionated people that try to make their perspective other people's perspective. Um, so philosophical, I guess, could be a way to put it. Um, I just woke up today caring about things that you never really hear people talk about caring about. Introspective, maybe, what could be the word. Um, but like, I'll give you a couple examples. One of the things I woke up thinking about today was the relationship of white people with other people of other races, and how I never wanted to be in, like, to when you are born a certain way, whether you like it or not, you're in a certain position on the subject. Whether you want to be a part of the conversation or not, whether you want, like, because of the way that you look, it's just the way that people are these days. Because of the way that you look, you're given a position in the argument. And one of the things that my brain kind of went around towards is, um, that, like I said, regardless of what your opinion is, regardless of what your personal viewpoints are, even if you're like, none of that should matter to me. None of that. I don't think any of that really matters to me. But it matters because it's something that exists that people need to discuss. And I try to stay away from a lot of that stuff because it's people can be easily offended by someone's opinions, especially when you're in a place in your life where you're trying to form those opinions, like you're trying to put your opinions, put your point of view into a way that other people can understand. Very super easy to get misinterpreted. Very easy to offend people. Some people enter a conversation like that ready to be offended, ready to be confrontational, ready for a fight. So it was like, with a lot of things with me. What are the things that I am? I'm a white man. I'm an older white man. I'm an overweight older white man. I am I think, fairly liberal, overweight white man. Uh, what else? Certainly privileged. Certainly had a lot of things going for me that a lot of people don't in their lives. So my position in this world, like I said, whether I'm actively involved in it or not. What's going on, Tev? Good morning, sir. No matter what I think, no matter how I feel on the subject, I'm a part of the conversation just because of who I am, as much as anybody else in the very handsome. Nah, I disagree, but thank you for saying so. Thank you for saying so. Thank you for the compliment. Um, so yeah, uh, I hate that certain things exist. I hate that certain opinions, certain, what's the word I'm looking for? Um, no, they're not really hate, but just what's going on. Um, I don't have a lot of hate in my heart. It saddens me that there is a thing that people are experiencing in their lives based on other people's opinions about who you are, other people's opinions about the color of your skin or your gender or your perspective is different from theirs, and so, like, that's probably the easiest way to put it. Who you are and what you are about is different than what other people are about, and they don't like it, or they see you as being, they don't get the full picture of who you are. Fine, disagree. Great thing is not up to you. Let me judge. That's right. No, no. I will say that. And if I didn't say that yet, I apologize, Chris, because I'm like lost in thought. But good morning. Sorry about that. Um, I am not my type. Regarding, if someone compliments me on the way that I look, or if someone compliments me in any way whatsoever, I am not my type. So absolutely, it's not up to me. You're very right. Yay, Twitch comments are working. Sweet. So that's the kind of stuff that I have going on in my brain, is thinking about certain concepts. Happy Friday. Yeah, you too, man. Yeah, let's talk really quick about comments. So I'm broadcasting on Haps and Twitch and YouTube and Facebook. Some comments may not appear if I don't respond to your comments. I'm sorry. I don't know. There's nothing I can do about it. It's just the way Haps is. So the new Halo TV series is out. I saw that. I saw some information about that, some advertising about that. I don't know if I'm going to watch that. I was never into the game, and I tried watching one of the short films. It's good so far. Cool. I might check it out at some point. I'm not really super eager to jump into that, but yeah, absolutely. Let me know what you think. Each episode is an hour long. Nice. I certainly support more sci-fi, new material, new content, new story. Oh, there are tons with science fiction. You would think there are so many stories that you can tell. So absolutely, I'm never not going to support new stories to tell. Uh, but getting back to what I was saying, it's just it put me in a weird mood, thinking like opening my eyes today, waking up and thinking about uh, some things that are out of my control. Maybe that's the first mistake is getting caught up in things that aren't really about me and in my control. Um, but I'm just one of those types of people that wake up and think about things, just from a weird angle, you know, uh, wanting the life that I live and the people that I'm around, and wanting things to be better than how they are. And I'm just sad that things aren't as good as they could be. But I've been dealing with that my whole life. You know, it should be enough to, or you would think that everybody would want that. Things just to be nicer and cooler and more chill. And this isn't that type of world. Uh, I mean, the whole foundation of all the broadcasts that I do is, you know, I guess that be the change you want to see in the world. And unfortunately, it's not enough for me to want it. It's not enough even for me to, even me trying to be the change that I wish to see in the world. Even me putting forth effort to do that is not enough. All I can still end up doing is just trying to reach out to other people and find other people that want the same thing. And then us just getting together and basically telling each other how nice it would be if the world were the way that we wished it were. So, all you can do is all you can do. All I can do is talk about things and love people and want to make friends and put myself out there. Um, and it's not so much about the result, because who knows what the result's going to be, but just to keep doing it. So, melancholy, I guess, is the word I'm looking for. I just woke up feeling a little melancholy. Sad that the world's not a better place. Good morning, Ian. Hello, sir. Just sad that the world is not a better place. Hopeful that the world will someday be a better place. Sad about the problems that exist and the negative that exists in the world, but trying not to be an agent of that, trying to be an agent of positivity. And like I said, just generally being sad, not knowing if anything that I do is going to make a difference, but that's kind of irrelevant, right? Whether or not it does make a difference is irrelevant. It's the fact that you just got to live your life like it's going to be that way. I mean, that's the foundation of faith. Speaking of things that aren't as if they are, kind of thing. Speaking things into existence, that sort of thing. Stevie Wonder, what's going on? Good morning. It's the topic of a conversation that I want to have with Ben on one of our broadcasts. Um, as Ben and I work in the studio and we try to get a handle on what we want our broadcasts to be. Thank you to everybody who's tuned in. You may have watched the replay, whatever. Um, uh, but thank you for folks who are taking time out of their Wednesday night to join in the conversation. And thank you to people who maybe you didn't tune in Wednesday night, but you took a listen at a little bit of the replay. That's great too. I'm going to make it a point of stopping by where you are on the way back. I would love that big old mad hug. Sure, absolutely. And I'll try to tone down my awkwardness, my in-person awkwardness as much as possible. I will try to be as accepting in real life uh, of the attention as I am on here. It's a different story the way that I act on here and receive. I mean, you guys even know I'm still a little awkward just me talking to people on here, but I'm even more so in person. I think it does a number on me meeting people in real life, but I'm awkward too. It's okay. Yeah, that doesn't mean that I don't want the friendship, that I don't want to meet people, because I do. It's more the fact that I wish that I received it better. I wish I was better at it. I looked a bit while you guys were setting up. Oh, cool, cool. And it is weird that I get it. I'm awkward as well. Yeah, like sometimes you just got to kind of step through that, step beyond that, push through the awkwardness. Because I am super grateful of the people that I've met, and I don't know why I get the way that I do. One of the things that I noticed is that I had a very different idea of what the broadcast was going to be Wednesday night than what it was, because I'm thinking in my head the whole time, we got to be succinct. There are certain bullet points that I want to hit, and I want to hit them in a certain order. I want to hit them in a certain way. I want the broadcast to be at a certain pace, and certainly like a lot quicker from one thing to another, and a lot more on point than what it was. But it's not entirely Ben's fault. It's my fault as well. Just the way that we are when the mic gets on, and then we're live and we're talking about things. It was much looser, much uh, much more tangenty than I wanted it. But I tried to veer. I tried to move it back on point. Ben had certainly things he wanted to say, and I don't want to deny him the things he had to say. And there were some times where I wanted to say certain things, but while I'm talking, I'm also trying to think, this isn't exactly what I meant. And how do I, like you do that thing, that multitasking thing that I'm not very good at, where you're thinking about the next thing you're going to say and how you can veer the conversation back on track, which is not something I'm very good at, but it's something that I want to get better at. Um, I like how Ben and I have a conversation, and I respect that we have things that we want to say and want to say them. but it's balancing that along with, okay, we're trying to we're trying to broadcast something that people will stay interested in and keep it down to a half an hour for the, with everything that we need to say. We absolutely can talk for 2 hours about a certain thing, but the whole idea of doing a show is at half an hour here, half an hour there. I didn't want to do a 3-part episode. I wanted to do 3 episodes. Talk about this. We hit on it for a half an hour. Then we talk about this. We hit on that for half an hour. Then we talk about X, Y, Z. And yeah, Wednesday night, although I enjoyed it, and I hope that other people that watched it enjoyed it as well, it wasn't there yet. So Ben and I, in my opinion, we definitely need to tighten it up, and that's something that's gonna happen in time. And something that I didn't even talk to Ben about was that if we're doing the broadcast and people are jumping on and talking to us, and we're doing the major thing every Wednesday night, maybe it isn't the point where we should worry about a podcast, about ripping the audio and putting it up on Spotify. Something that we could do at some point. But I think, and Ben, if you're still here, let me know your opinion on that. The broadcast might be enough for now. And the one thing that I did want to do was break up into, what's the 15 seconds, 1 minute, 3 minutes? Is it 15 seconds, 60 seconds, and then for TikTok, how they break up the bits there? Or is it 15, 30, and then a minute? I can't remember. But however they break it up, to clip the broadcast and then put it onto TikTok. However they do it, still something that I'm interested in doing. That might be enough, get people's attention, to tell them about the broadcast and be able to, show a little bit of us talking. And Wednesday nights on YouTube, 7 Eastern. So, as I've always said, it's a work in progress. So who knows how that's going to, what that's going to look like later on down the road. And where else did my brain go today? So I woke up about 6 o'clock and decided to go get some coffee. So I got me coffee and a bagel. I don't want to make a habit of coffee and a bagel, but I kind of dig it. Like it was nice to do. And while I'm trying to stay away from carbs, you know how it goes. Everything in moderation. So maybe once or twice a week wouldn't be so bad, as long as I'm sticking to mostly vegetables and all that during the week. But anyways, I got me a coffee and a bagel, and I was watching. I got my laptop for a little bit, and I was looking some stuff up, um, to entertain me for a little while. And somehow I landed on Spider-Man, and looking up him, and then it sort of transitioned from Spider-Man into something called Identity Crisis and Slingers. So, if anybody that knows Spider-Man from the comic books, there was a point in time where he couldn't be Spider-Man. So he made, to throw everybody off, he made 4 different identities, aspects of him as a hero. He made 4 different identities that he would switch up every once in a while to kind of throw people off. And those four identities, Peter eventually went back to being Spider-Man, and those four identities were borrowed, I guess you could say, by four other people as superheroes. So anyway, I was reading the origin of the people that took over those identities, and there was a character named Black Marvel that took them. He was a Golden Age hero in Marvel Comics. That took these identities and gave them to four kids. But they're like, I won't get into the details. It's like it's a little weird. It's so very '90s, so very 2000s. That late '90s thing with that. Uh, that I sort of glanced over it, and a lot of it was when you're getting into the golden age, you're getting into a certain glaringly obvious comic book industry. Um, and the only thing you could really do with a lot of those things, a lot of those heroes, a lot of the storylines, uh, that made me a little sad too, because you're like, I remember comic books as being this great thing. And for the most part, it was. And I remember these stories and these characters as being really cool. And I'm sure that there are people ever since comics started, the younger kids would see these comic books and be like, "This dude can fly. This dude can is bulletproof. This dude can this and that." But when you shine it, when it goes through the lens of 2022 and the way that we are now compared to the way that we are 30 years ago, 50 years ago, 80, 90 years ago, um, some of that stuff does not age well. Most, and this is why it kind of put me back into the whole thing of it's a shame. Um, most superheroes were white men because most uh, of the audience was white men. Most of the comic book creators were white men. Um, Diversity, uh, and also, what would you call that? Miss Poor history, I guess. Uh, the idea of mentioning another uh, culture, and then the standout character from that culture was a white man who adopted that culture. Like that was the idea at one time of here we are representing, or featuring other cultures. Was there's this culture that exists that we kind of know a little bit about, and aren't they cool? And luckily, some white dude was a part of that, saved by a Native American, or saved by the jungle folk. Like just vague uh, concepts like that. Um, and when I read it, like I started reading, I'm like, okay, so who's this Black Marvel guy? And I kind of remember. I don't know if that was the name of the character, Black Marvel, but there was a character that was a black man who was pretty powerful, a pretty powerful superhero. I don't and I don't I can't recall his name for the life of me, but um, that wasn't this guy whatsoever. This is a white dude named Black Marvel, which I don't get. Like he inherited this mantle, um, and it was just so odd, and so, like I said, just so awkward to read that and be like, Yeah, comic books were way different. The we're trying. There's so much work that's been done and is continuing to be done in the comic book world. Like, yeesh, kind of cringe. So, um, yeah, there's no avoiding that, and all I can kind of do is sort of, like I said, just kind of cringe a little bit and mm-hmm, moving on. Yeah, all that I could do is really just let that go and just be like, just let that be what it is and what it was, and move on from that. So if any of this is relatable to anybody, I'm glad. If this is weird to folks, if people are watching this and they're like, whatever, if you watch me and you listen to the things that I say and you don't get it, I don't know why you're watching me. But I mean, I'm grateful. But the only thing I can do is hope that this makes sense to somebody. So, oh man. So yeah, that's just the weird mood that I'm in today. Well, okay. So that's how I'm expressing it. But I, without having anybody else's perspective, without hearing from anybody else, I think the things that I say must be unusual. But I really don't know. Thank you, Tev. I appreciate you, bud. I'm glad that you do watch. Having these things going on in my brain is kind of a challenge for me. Um, and I'm sure, I mean, I hope that other people can relate. While I'm talking about things out loud, I'm trying to work through them myself. So stuff can be as unusual for me to understand as it is for anybody else to understand. So this whole experience of me talking about the way that I feel, talking about the things that I see, and trying to work through it all. Um, it's a process for me. Uh, I don't expect everybody to get it because sometimes I don't even get it. Tom, hello, sir. Thank you very much. Or Todd, should I say. Thank you, sir. I have no gate key. You have no gate key? What does that mean? Oh, Princess Bride line. I have no gate key. I don't remember that. Nope. It's been a while since I've watched Princess Bride, so I don't have all the lines down. But so I'll just say something like Roxanne. Roxanne, the Steve Martin movie. That's interesting. You mentioning, or like I'm vaguely picking up, like Princess Bride, Roxanne. I figured I could get you to sing it as I wrote one word. Oh, I got you. Hello, my weird mood brother. What's going on, Thrawn? How are you, sir? Um, yeah. I guess my brain is just not. I don't have my usual brains. Are you the man with six fingers? That is a Princess Bride reference. Sometimes I wonder if I'm gonna grow, if when I get older, if I'm gonna have dementia. Like I wonder when, if and when I'm gonna lose my faculties, because sometimes I have a completely different brain on some days than others. Like sometimes I'm with it, sometimes I'm right there, sharp as a tack, and then other days everything's going over my head because I just wake up a certain way. Like that's one of those things that I always wanted to ask people. I'm like, does anybody else experience that, where you're just not the same person one day as you are the next? Yes, I did watch Picard season 2. I get it. I totally do. Like, have you been diagnosed with multi personality? No, no. But I do think sometimes, like, I the way that I feel some days frightens me. Like I really am on the edge of panic with the way that I am. Where like people saying things that I don't remember. Um, and some of it's a little bit, some of it's a little, you know, overreacting a little bit. Sometimes the way that I feel, I chalk it up to mental stimulation. Some days I don't have enough, therefore stuff is over my head. Is it anxiety? No, just kind of like, all right. Let me just say it this way. There are some times that I've felt on three occasions I could think of just this past week where I'm like, how the hell am I still alive? Like I'm barely hanging on. Like life is just happening, and I'm just kind of like in the wake, in the current kind of thing. Yeah, hanging on by the fingertips. Yeah, exactly. You know, there are some days where I'm just thankful I'm not in Ukraine. Oh, don't get me started on that. I am definitely one of those people that on many different occasions, many different times, sometimes multiple times in one day, where I think about things that aren't within my reality right now. Like where I am in my in my line of sight right now, the world that I see around me, the world that I hear around me, my immediate vicinity, um, is all that I should really be paying attention to. And anytime that I think of something outside, like that I have no control over, that's happening in other parts of the world, other parts of the U.S., other parts of Tennessee, even, like anytime that I think about those things, and I'm like, I just get overwhelmed. If I don't do shit straight away, I forget. I like your new haircut, dye job. Not a dye job, man. What you see is what you get. I need to buzz my head too, because I'm noticing I got that salt and pepper action going on there. How come the beard ain't black? I have no answer for that. I let the hairs grow, and they're whatever color they are, man. No idea. Makes you sophisticated. Thank you. Just Matt, don't react, Matt. Just take the compliment. If somebody says something really nice to you, don't react. Just say thank you. Thank you for saying that. All you need is a pipe and a top hat. How about a cigar and a baseball cap? Is sophisticated a compliment or saying you're a rich guy? I don't think. Well, I don't necessarily think of rich when I think of sophisticated. The world's so weird, man. You know, it's one of those things that I'm interested in. It fascinates me, and it also just makes me super sad and super confused. Like it's an observation that I can make, but I don't know what to do with it. Other like just the being 50, being on this earth for almost 50 years, and everything that I've seen, and how different the world is, even from what I was told it was from the start. It just seems like every day you're just getting something wrong. At least I am. It feels like every day you think the world is one way and it's not that way. And you're just like, how the hell did I manage to stay alive for almost 50 years with all this shit that I've been given in my life turning out like the every day you find something that's just not true. Definitely wasn't saying you were rich, although I could see that salt, pepper, sophisticated. Anakin to Obi-Wan. In your opinion, what's the height of stupidity? Obi-Wan says, Anakin, how tall are you? Oh, man. The truth is fluid. Well, I mean, that depends on your definition of truth. I mean, the truth is the way that it is. That's one of the things that I think, one of the reasons that I think the Bible has, the one thing in the Bible I think it has going for it is when they call the truth the way and all that, when they use those words, the truth and the way and all that is there's one ultimate truth. There is one way that the world is, that the universe is, that existence is, right? The truth, capital T, the truth is the one way that everything, like, we may not know it, we may only know parts of it, and a lot of what we know to be misinformation, not just information, but like the truth itself is not fluid. It's the observance of the truth. Truth is there. All right. I didn't, not to, no, I'm not, I wasn't bringing it up to for discussion on the Bible. I'm just saying that the one latch point of of that philosophy, of that work of literature, is that there is one truth, there is one way. the way that it is, was, and will be. That you can talk about multiple dimensions, alternate storyline, alternate histories, alternate timelines, and all that stuff. But where we are right now is one singular path. You take me as a Buddhist. I don't know. Do you mean that you see me as Buddhist? I I'm not sure. I don't know enough about. He's very open-minded. Open-minded for sure. I don't know what category I would fit in most because I don't know a lot about those to know what category I see. What boxes I tick off the most. I I've been enjoying the idea of stoicism, and I can't really read up on that a lot because it overwhelms my brain. I look some of that stuff up and I just think too much, and I can't really. My eyes just glaze over, and I can't really hold a lot of that information. But Stoicism is one of those things. The ideas of philosophy. But that's part of my problem is that I can't really read much. I can't really absorb a lot of information before I get super overwhelmed. So it's tough for me. Uh, there are some things that I've heard of Buddhism that it sounds good. You are whatever you want to believe, whether it be God or whatever. I know that I don't like referencing specific denominations because I don't believe that there's any one denomination that has it completely right. Like they're right and everyone else is wrong. I don't think that of any ist or isms. Um, I don't think everybody has the complete right answer. Uh, that's why I was saying when I referenced something like the Bible, it's the book, it's the thing that I have the most experience when it comes to those type of isms. Back when I could actually retain information, back when I could actually read something and process it and hold on to it. But there's also a reason why I don't follow any of that stuff now because while I did see some really good points, I did see some really nice bullet points and some some of the wording hit home with me. Uh, there's a lot that I didn't agree with, which is why I never, I don't really talk about it that much. I don't like referencing a dollar as a denominator. Yeah. Sorry about that. Gotta take my meds, which I already took. Sorry if that was loud for others. Leonard Cohen tried many different religions and found them all depressing. Yeah, yeah. There's certainly I don't know about anybody else's experience, but for me, there comes a point where you're just taking stuff in and you're siphoning out. There's a pattern where you take in information and you separate the wheat from the chaff, sort of thing. Another Bible reference, but you separate the information from the misinformation. You can always take bits and pieces from them all, yeah. But it's like I will never actively go out and try to find the right answers because dealing with it's kind of like, did you grow up as an altar boy? Almost. I went from as life went on, I went from Catholic to Christian to practitioner, solitary worshiper, general theist to I remove myself from all of that and I'm just an individual. Like I've totally changed my status as time has gone on from one specific thing to, well, this is a lot of this is kind of bullshit. So let's call myself that. Well, a lot of that is bullshit. So let me call myself that. Oh, that's kind of a lot of that's kind of bullshit. I don't call myself that. So I've my perspective has changed so much that I've gone from from the religious category to the spiritual category to the you know it's just worn me out so much that I don't really the idea of categories and labels and shit like that after a while just you know there's a lot of stuff that I've experienced in my life that I thought was the way. That's why I'm saying, like, go you my I've gone through so many things and learned so many things and experienced so many things in my life that I just end up dumping it all and being like, you know, every day I wake up and there's something that I thought was one way and it's the other. It's wrong. And it's like, ugh, all right, well, I really don't, everything that I thought I knew, I really don't know. And anything that, you end up, your, your perspective of the world and your perspective of reality, at least mine, my perspective of the world and reality and all that stuff is just so, it's so different than I thought it was going to be that I just end up giving up. Anyone who thinks they know everything is a stupid asshole. Yeah, yeah. What's the? How does that go? The something to the effect of the most important thing I've learned is that I no. The most important thing to know is that you know nothing. Something like that. I misremember the quote, but it's something along those lines. Most important thing to know is that you know nothing. Or um, and especially on a day like today, where I'm feeling that so much. That's such a mood for me today. Like, I don't know, man. I know what I want, and what I want is to relax and just be happy and be chill and hang out and talk with my friends and believe in something that is true and not panic about the way the world is and not overthink things, not be overstimulated. Just fucking relax. That's what I want. To not feel like I don't know what I'm doing or that I'm wrong. Luckily, a lot of me is reacting to my old way of thinking that I'm a piece of shit. My brain is starting to say I'm not a piece of shit. So there's some growth there. Uh, so the only thing you can believe is true is death, taxes, and Star Wars. I am not an obtuse piece of flut. Um, yeah, well, I'm loving Q being back. It's very interesting. It's a I can't say I'm all in on Picard either. Like, I feel like that there is a level of that story that's being told on Picard that other people are getting and they're enjoying that I'm just not getting. Like, when I see Q interact with Picard, it just feels to me in my heart like more of the same. Like somebody that used to watch Next Generation saw the relationship between Q and Picard, where Q's like, "You guys are primitive," and Picard's like, "No, we're not, and we're really good." And like, it's like, I haven't got time for your bullshit. Yeah, the it just feels kind of like someone's trying to reminisce about the relationship between Q and Picard, and like someone's just writing it out. The trial never ends, don't you know? Yeah, so um like someone just took that and is trying to write something with that. Like they don't. It's supposed to say something that people can pick up on and be like, oh, very fascinating, very very interesting. That, and I'm kind of like, no, it just sounds like, to me it just sounds like somebody's writing something that sounds similar to something somebody said on the Next Generation. You know, it doesn't feel to me like it did when I was younger, when I thought, here was a story being told about these characters that exist in this world. It, to me, from my perspective now, the way that I consume content, the way that I consume a story, it's very easy for me to say someone, to focus less on this is going on in this world and more someone wrote that. Jaded, maybe I've seen Behind the Curtain too many times, maybe I've seen How the Sausage is Made too many times, that I just can't be immersed in a story like I used to, or at least with a Star Trek story. But that's where my brain goes now. My brain goes with, you know, there wouldn't be a show if Q didn't show up and try to be confrontational and just try to be a Q hole like he is. Um, you know, oh Picard, you don't get it, do you? What are you trying to say, Q? Oh, so you don't understand. He never understands. What are you trying to say, Q? Well, you don't get it? You don't get, just fucking tell me what you're trying to say, Q. Just tell me. Just say it. There's something wrong with Q. He seems sick. Yeah, I gathered that much. Yeah, but at some point you're like, oh, okay. But it's just like, oh, what the? It's like all I see is Picard is old, and I feel really bad that someday Patrick Stewart's gonna die. And I feel on top of that even worse because Picard is never gonna have kids. Maybe he will, but I don't know how they could at this point. And like, I think about his mortality, I think about my mortality, I think about him not having kids, I think about me not having kids. And like, the Picard's just struggling to hold on to what Picard was, but he isn't that way anymore. And then Q comes along and fucks with him, and it's like, uh, how do you know he doesn't? He screwed Kirk. I don't know. I'm just saying, like, what I'm taking from this series, what I'm taking from this show, is not something that me at 20 years old or me at 30 years old would have taken from this show. Where I stand now and the things that I've experienced, I've had the love of my life die. I've had the heart attack myself. I've had to face the fact that I'm turning 50 and I don't want to turn 50. I don't feel 50. I'm still in my heart in 27, 28 years old, and realizing now that I've gone through two 25-year periods of my life. Maybe I have one more 25-year period. Like, I may be on the latter third. I hope I'm at least on my last third of my life, but I don't know. And so I'm going through so much shit in my head. You know, could I die tomorrow? Certainly. I don't know. I don't know. I never thought I'd have a heart attack, and then one day I woke up having a heart attack, and I'm like, oh shit. Midlife crisis? No, it's just where I'm at now. Like, I don't consider that to be a midlife crisis. It's just because I'm always a right now kind of person. I hope your heart is okay. I think it is, but I don't know. Everybody says that as long as I do X, Y, and Z, that I should live, that I should be healthy. I'm losing weight. My cholesterol is fine. My blood pressure is not as high as it was. I'm doing everything that I'm supposed to do, but I'm still fucking scared every day. I still don't know what life is going to have around the corner. There's still a little part of me every day that I'm alive that says, I don't know how I'm alive now, and I don't know how long I'm going to be alive, because I was so close to someone who was so beautiful and contributed so much, and she was just like this force that I was so in love with, and that definitely shouldn't have passed away before I did. What the fuck am I doing alive? Like, I have so much shit that goes on in my head daily like that, and then seeing my mother wither away, not be the person she was 10 years ago, 20 years ago, to see her dealing with, and a lot of other people I know dealing with depression, dealing with identity, dealing with time passing. All the celebrities and stuff that I'd look and I'd see old people passing away and old celebrities passing away and be feeling like, oh, that's, not really thinking too much other than that's sad, to now seeing people that I watched on television and the closer to where I am as a human being passing away, that I'm thinking, oh shit, there's something is coming. It may be 30 years, 20 years, and it's really fucked up to think that, because I was 20, 30 thinking that, not knowing what 50 was going to look like, not even being able to conceive of the 50 years old. Hi, Melissa. What's up? You could die tomorrow from a drunk driver. What do you do for exercise? Have you thought about changing your identity? Um, like, so much enters my brain now that everything fucking worries me and scares me, and like a little bit of paranoia every day, a little bit of what's going to happen to me, how long I'm, like, the question that just, it's in my head now. You know, I see the gray. I look at my hands and they're not the hands that I used to have. The some of it's weight loss, some of it's just growing old. Wrinkles where there weren't used to be wrinkles, freckles where there didn't used to be freckles, pain where there never used to be pain, things aching and stuff like that. Like, feeling getting older, actually feeling it now, and knowing that, you know, 15 years, I could say in 15 years, I might be the same way, but no, in 15 years I could retire. It's just weird to say in 15 years, because it never used to be 15 years. It used to be way in the future. Nothing to even worry about. I'm here now. And that's what keeps humans alive. Sounds like that Leonard Cohen song. Yeah, so, and that just feeds into, like I said, the weird mood I'm in, where I'm just thinking about stuff. It's like, fuck. I've gone from, the first 25 years of my life was learn shit. The second 25 years of my life was do shit. And I feel like I'm entering in the next 25 years of my life, which will be teach shit. And if I'm lucky, after that, maybe another 25 years, which will just be, at that point, it'll just be shit. Like diapers and old folks home, and who knows. I love you either way. Thank you, Tev. But yeah, these are things that I never had to worry in my 20s and in my 30s. But now that I'll be 50 in 6 months, these are things that I start to worry about. Aching places where I used to play. Yeah. So I'm going through a lot of that stuff now. But all right, not to leave it there. And I'm sorry that I'm blurting out a lot of that shit. Not my intention. But as always, time passes, and I'm looking at the clock. Heavy morning. Yeah, it is, Melissa. Sorry about that. I'm sorry. But like I said, I woke up in a weird mood. This is all part of that. If people ask me what I'm thinking and what I'm feeling, and that's what I'm thinking and feeling. So a lot of it I just don't express to people, because I don't want people to think I'm crazy, and I don't want to put anybody else down or make anybody else think weird things. But there's a lot of shit that goes through my brain sometimes. You got to put it out there. Don't hold it in your anus. Um. So, but it's 9:45. I got about 5 minutes to clock in to work. Um, deliver some pizzas. We're all crazy. It keeps us from going insane. Yeah. Have a great day. And hopefully I'll be able to dump this stuff. You're good. I have a plan with a few close friends that are all single. We are getting a condo together, and we're going to just live our lives like kids. Absolutely. It sounds great. Ever thinking of running a pizza shop? No, I don't want to run anything. Thanks for a good smile. Thank you, sir. Um No, I don't want to run anything. I don't want to be in charge of shit. Like I'm working the opposite. What's something that I can do naturally that I enjoy doing, and for me it's been podcasting and broadcasting on here. What's something that I really like to do that doesn't require a lot of effort, that is, really fulfilling. I can reach out to people and talk about me and talk about them and stuff, and I want to set myself up a lifestyle where I could do that and make just enough money to pay the bills, um, for as long as I can. There's no career, no management job, no owning anything, no. I don't want all that responsibility and all that. Having uh, as little of that as I can. Put a sticker on your van offering mentor services. I mean, if I can end up doing that on here, that'd be great. But all right, I'm at 9% battery. 3 minutes till I got to go to work, so I got to shut this down. Thanks for hanging out with me for a little bit. Thank you for listening to my shit. Enjoy your day, and I hope that you, no matter what, putting everything else aside, I hope you feel loved. I hope you know that you're loved. I hope that you have a good day and that you're happy. Have positivity in your life. Follow me if you haven't followed me yet. Share the broadcast with your friends. Always nice to make new friends. Connect with me at 3231 on social media if you haven't yet. I hope your day is uneventful. Thank you. Thank you so sincerely. But I'll talk to you guys soon. Love you. Bye.